lights might go out, but we don't. The guys, you will know, your host, Big Dave. Back to the place. And good morning. Yes, this is Big Dave. We are here. We are going. We are live right here on Back to the Basics with Big Dave. We got special guests with us today. We'll get to them in just a second. But first, my co-hostage, what's going on, Wayne? How you doing?
Pretty good.
You have a good weekend so far?
Yeah, so far.
So far, you got out of bed this morning. That's pretty good.
Yep, I fell out. I had a wreck, but I'm here.
Well, that's all right. It's all good. It's all good. And we got a special guest with us. Well, first, let's go to the beautiful one, because she's prettier than he is. she brings the look of the studio up a whole lot. So better than that, too. Well, we don't have smell-o-vision yet. All right, so introduce yourself.
So I'm Karen Hoerl.
You got 3 names.
Yeah, she's right enough to say.
So go ahead. Tell us something about you.
I'm married to this wonderful gentleman over here for probably close to 17 years.
Ooh. Yeah, I don't know about that. What's going on, Ryan?
Not too much, Dave.
Good. Get into that microphone.
Oh, you can't hear me?
Got to get into it so we can hear you and all that. So, and tell us a little bit about your company.
Sure. My name is Ryan Hoerl. I'm the founder of HHM Roofing Construction here in the Birmingham area, and I started my company in 2023. So my business is only 3 years old. However, I've been in the building trade since I was 17, which I guess you don't know how old I am, so that would mean in the late 90s. So I've had 30 years experience of what I'm doing, and I wanted to start something up that I knew more than anything else, and wanted to be able to deliver promises to the people I work for and do projects for that, they know that what I say they're going to get something, they're going to get what I say.
Oh, that's pretty good. All right, so just to let y'all know, he's with HHM Roofing, and we were talking before we started that you were fixing to start a series about something?
What I find is that homeowners kind of get blindsided by contractors when they come to their home and they're trying to explain pricing and how everything works. And for a homeowner, you don't know who does what and why one thing will cost more than another when you think you're comparing apples to apples with estimates and things like that. So on my website, I'm developing a pricing page on there that will have a 9-video series. The 9 video is basically just instructions on how to use the estimator, but it just kind of gives you general information on what to expect with financing, what to expect in the value and understanding what makes one roof project different from another, and things of that nature that homeowners want to question, but they maybe want to question it on their own in private, not with the guy in front of them trying to get them to commit to the project. So I just wanted to give a lot of transparency so that pricing isn't a secret. Go to my website, watch the video, and do the estimator, and you can just see for yourself what something would cost if you need it much prepared.
That is awesome. That it makes it to where, and you were telling me before the show that it doesn't have to do with anything of you. They don't have to go with you, but it helps them if they're going with anyone not to get scammed by a roofer.
Exactly. I try to make it transparent. General, so it's not so much about me and my company. However, there's probably
awesome because, I mean, there's a lot of times when, people will come out to your house. I mean, the neighborhood I live in, people come to the door all the time. Hey, we're selling, and I'm like, are you kidding me? How many times, you can have a sign that covers the whole front door that says no soliciting, and you're sitting there going, hey, I don't want it. But, you have people that still will knock on your door and everything. But, the only bad part about it is the other day, my father-in-law answered the front door and he turned away somebody that I wanted to talk to. So I got to call him back, I mean, that's, I said, well, it wasn't Amazon, was it? No, it wasn't Amazon. They don't knock on the front door. They just drop the packages at the front. So, but we're going to talk a little bit more about what's going on with HHM Roofing. But did y'all see that our astronauts came home yesterday? Was that not awesome? You know the one thing that I thought about? And I know this sounds crazy, but this is me being self-reliant. How much extra food did they have up there? I know they said, what? Well, that was one of the things that I was reading is that they don't carry a whole lot of water with them because water is heavy in space. So it's already pre-packaged, but from what I understand, they carry about an extra 100 pounds of food in case they had to orbit for a little bit longer. Oh, right. And they came home a little bit early. Yeah. They came home on the 9th day instead of they were supposed to be doing it for 10 days, but they came home on 9 days. But that was one of the things that I was wondering about is how much extra food and stuff do they carry up there, which, they had problems with, it's something that you don't want to have a problem with is they have problems with their toilet. Yes, that's frozen. I thought that some of it a couple of years ago was something all space like it was this time. Yeah, from what I understand, it was this time, and their toilet up there, it's cold up there from what they say. Yeah, I mean, there's two things that would bother me. The toilet being messed up and not having enough food if I got it, and how you're going to have to stretch it. Even that 100 pounds, you're going to have to be able to stretch it so that you can have, so you're safe. Because they're going to have to figure a way to get down and all that stuff, but they would be messed up. So that leads me into how much food do we keep? I had told you last week, I have about 5 months worth of food saved up, ready to go, and I need more. Most people, they have a problem going through 3 days. I think I got 2 weeks. You got 2 weeks? We got to bump that up. Right, that won't dust in my wallet now. Well, I do know. Do y'all understand what he's saying about having dust in his wallet?
I think we should
expand on that, Wayne. What do you think? Dust flies out. There's no money. But we got to get you more up to speed. That's what we're working on this summer. Is trying to get you up. First, we got to get a week's worth. Yeah, you got to get a week's worth, and it's not that hard. I figured out that when it's a mindset. It is a mindset that when you go to the store, we went to the store the other day and was having to pick up a few little things here and there, and I realized instead of picking up one, I picked up two. Everything that I bought, I picked up an extra one to put on the shelf, and that's one of the things that I wanted to talk about today is, starting your own pantry shelf. Basically, a prepper shelf. I don't like prepper shelf. Self-reliant shelf. Let's call it that. But put you some groceries on it so that, you can at least get through a few days. One of the big myths of, being self-reliant is, peppers are crazy. They're not political. They're all or nothing. We're not that way. I don't think I am. I mean, if you walk into my house, you're not going to be able to tell that I'm a prepper because you can't see all the stuff that I have that's under the beds, in the closets. You open my pantry, it looks like a normal pantry, except when you look up to the top shelf. The top shelf is full of canning stuff that I've done over this year.
We've talked about that before. Don't show what you got, don't show your big stuff. Living in a block, that's what you do. It's down behind.
That is true.
That's what you got to get afraid of sometimes.
And that's where community comes in. Knowing the people that's around you and getting them on the same page as you so that the bully would have to come from a different block, not from your block. Get the people that you know around you on the same page as you. Yes, if it has a BOGO, I'm BOGOing twice. I'm gonna buy two. I'm gonna have to at least, but it's crazy because that's one of the things that I think about a lot is being prepared. Excuse me. Number one, we go out to a restaurant. One of the first things I do is I sit with my back against the wall, and I am facing the door. And I am one of these that I will sit there, and I found out, I thought I was watching people, but I'm not really watching people as much as I'm watching their hands. I'm not watching the faces. I'm watching their hands to see what are they doing. Are they reaching for something that they don't need to reach for? Like a firearm or something like that. So, I'm watching people's hands and trying to get a take on them to see how much am I worried about that person that's on the other side of the restaurant? Am I worried about that person? As I walk in, I am glancing at everyone and everybody. That's the only way to be. I mean, even in here, I'm protected wherever I go. I have freedom, the freedom launcher, and the freedom seeds. Yes, I do. I have them. All right, guys, we'll be back right after this.
This is just a reminder that you and I are adults, so go do your adult things today. Be mature.
Back to the basics with Big Dave.
And welcome back back to the Basics with Big Dave, and good morning. Make sure you go out and check us out on at backtothebasics.com, backtothebasics.com. You can also check us out on YouTube at Back to the Basics with Big Dave. Back to the Basics with Big Dave. All right, let's get back into Wayne. So you said you have about 72 hours worth of stuff.
Yeah, I have the right beans. I got like 3 different types of beans. They got a lot of cans. Yeah, I told you I got that 12-volt rice maker.
Yeah, have you tried it yet?
No, I've got the, also got the, I'm not trying to talk, hook it up here.
The truck batter.
Well, yeah.
You can put it in your truck and cook it in the floorboard.
I hook it up to my battery on the truck, crank it up, and I got 110 plugs.
Right.
I need to figure out how to, I want to try it. I do need to try it.
You need to try it before,
Yeah, because I go from worst case scenario to middle road to, having it made in the house.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's one of the ways, they say that, your 72-hour kid, you need to make sure you have stuff ready so that, if a power outage, water issues, empty shelves, the way the daggum, the Iran stuff going on, I know we don't talk political here, but we have to sometimes because you never know. You don't know. I mean, like this weekend, just to say they're doing the talks over there. J.D. Vance and all of them are doing the talks. You don't know how that's going to go. Hey, well, we try not to get into the political form, but one of the things you have to look at is that we have to worry and watch the political structure of everything just because of it affects the way that we do stuff. Just like with the oil. I seen the other day, $4.99, $3.89 coming in today, right down here at the bottom of the hill. Ryan, are y'all seeing any effects in your business or anything where it comes to the gas prices and all that stuff?
Yeah, well, of course, for me, I got paid for gas myself to forget my house, but some of the distributors that we use have increased their delivery fees now, which I think is a little premature. They kind of doubled their rate.
Double?
Yeah, they doubled the delivery cost.
Wow.
It went from 60 to 120. It's not a lot of money, really, but the fact is, it feels like they jumped the gun. Like, all right, guys, let's recoup our losses immediately instead of because, to be honest with you, it's just passing it along to that customer demand anyway, so it's really not.
Well,
fair, I guess, but
it's one of these that, everybody, the consumer always gets the end, gets shafted in the end. But, that's one of the reasons that I try to buy as much stuff as I can on sale. I went, 3 days ago, and I was going to the grocery store and picking up, like milk, stuff that I can't get. But I walked down the meat aisle, and all of a sudden, there's a big, beautiful roast that was on sale. Well, I grabbed it. I try to grab the roast when they're on sale, because that stuff is expensive right now. What was it? Some of them were like, $6 to $7 a pound. Yeah. Golly, that's just ridiculous.
More and more people are using coupons now, and change the logos, looking for those, and then using apps that are out there that kind of help.
yeah, it's just being a smart consumer. I'll be looking for the others everywhere you can.
Yeah. Oh yeah, oh yeah, and I've noticed also, like the other day, uh, we had to run some errands, and we thought about, hey, we also need to go here, here, and here because they're close to each other, and made one trip instead of going out and then going, we'll go later or whatever. We did it when we were out and about at that time.
Gas this morning caught me, you say keep it political, so you won't get surprised because you kind of happen to be keeping up with it. My fill up was like $53. I'm having to get the premium. My injectors
Right.
will stumble if I get the regular gas. So this morning it was $80. So
$80.
I would have put out, you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah,
$80 was $600.
right. But I mean, that's just the things that you're having to do. Stay aware of what's going on around you. Political, physical, all of that stuff. You need to be able to make sure that you are watching people. Like Ryan said, keep your head on a swivel. You're always watching. You're watching the people around you. Then you're watching what's going on in your state. And then you got to watch what's going on in the country and then the world. Because, like, gas is a world commodity. And the other day, and I'm going to say this, and this will be the last thing I say about the gas and all, because I'm fixing to get political. But, they were so worried about us being green. Why are they worried about the gas? I thought you had solar panels. I thought you had windmills and all this stuff to be able to do it. But, hey, let me get off of that before I get in trouble. And Wayne will. Wayne is one of these that I'll say, we're not going to talk about that. And then all of a sudden, Wayne's going, hey, it's just the way it is. But one of the things that we were talking about is why people stopped prepping after the pandemic. One of them is, I think the U.S. has short memory span. I think people have a short memory span. They don't remember what happened during the pandemic. Their comfort returned. So they're not worried about, it all came back. It'll come back again. Well, one of these days, it's not going to come back.
Yeah, the goodness store might not be there.
You're going to be kind of messed up.
You don't know what that sort of thing is.
Exactly. Or as Wayne calls it, rope rhythm. But, financial pressure. It's one of these that we didn't pay attention enough. I know during that time, during the pandemic and all, we were having problems finding lids for our jars and stuff. We were having a problem finding jars.
I had that problem every time I go into a couple of
Finding a lid.
they get bottoms, I don't know what's happening in there, but there's like something happening. It's not no drops.
Well, that is one of the things. I bought some and put it in the cabinet, and the other day I had some leftovers, and I reached up into the cabinet. There's none in there. I'm like, where did it go? It is like you were talking about, like your socks. Yeah. What happened to them? Well, that is true. That is very true. So it really doesn't matter what's going on there. Hey guys, we're fixing to go out to break. Make sure you go out and check out Back to the Basics with Big Dave. Back to the Basics with Big Dave on YouTube, TikTok, everywhere. Also, go out to BigDaveBasics.com, BigDaveBasics.com, and look us up. Oh, also, you can text the show, 205-677-6087. That is area code 205-677-6087. And we'll be back right after this.
Would you try to survive the apocalypse?
Is that not what we're doing now?
Back to the basics with Big Dave. Contact the show. Email bigdave3xl@gmail.com. Back to the basics with Big Dave. Contact the show. Email bigdave3xl@gmail.com.
Alright guys, welcome back to the show. It's Big Dave. We're going to switch a little bit since we have someone in here that knows about the roof. And, yeah, you know one or two things? One or two? Have you seen that video where the people go through and they talk about, hey, this is how a 20-year-old gets off the back of the truck, and then a 40-year-old gets off the back of the truck, and it's like, oh, you get hurt when the older you get. All right, Ryan, let me ask you a question. Rainwater catchment. What's your thoughts on it?
I think it can be useful in ways where you don't want to waste your water bill and having to run water. A handful of years ago, I had a system set up, and I did it all from scratch. We just couldn't go and buy all the parts and all the fancy plugs and screws and everything. So what I did was I went down to Coca-Cola in Birmingham and got 5 of their old syrup barrels. And I just bought threaded spigot part for the part that lets the water out, and then different ways of allowing the water in from the downspout. I installed gutters in my house because if you're going to catch rainwater, you can't do it on the gutter system. So I set up the downspout, went right into the barrel, and I was collecting water for a number of years. But what I kept discovering was, and this is the issue why I stopped, is that just like we all just experienced the pollen. As it rinses off the house or the gutters, if you don't have a filtering system to keep the pollen out of the barrel, it's just going to come it up and it's going to be a big giant mess.
Now, let me ask you this. I mean, I know a bunch of people that, I follow a bunch of people online, and a lot of them have what they call a first flush. You know what I'm talking about? Where everything comes off the house, and they'll capture, like, 20 or 30 gallons of water, and it flows out, and then it starts filling up. Did you have something like that?
I didn't, and that's kind of what my point is that I overlooked the fact that we got pollen, because it was maybe 5 years after I've been actually living here in Birmingham, so I didn't understand the heaviness of the pollen. So when I did, I just kind of put it together, and the system worked, and then we realized the issue by then. A flush system makes a lot of sense because then you can have everything collected in a place that collects the gunk and then have the water flush flow off that to where the barrels are sealed and clear so you don't have any of that messy stuff in there.
Well, and the other thing is, even if you did collect enough to where you could use it for watering your plants and stuff like that, that's better than not having any at all. And if you needed it, you could, Wayne was talking about this during the break, using it to flush the toilet. That is a definite good way to do it. And if you had to, you could use it to you could boil it, filter it. We were talking about during the break light straw. I think Ryan said you have one that has a plastic bag on the bottom of it or something.
No, what I bought is like a metal canteen type of thing. It's like a cylinder, like a regular drinking bottle. It's made out of metal because I wanted to use it in the event that I needed to heat up the water inside of it or some coffee in it or whatever. But what it does is the bottom part is filled with water and then the top part has a filter. So you push the top part into the bottom part and it filters off the water that's in there and you can just drink it right out of the bottle like the bottle is another thing.
Oh, okay.
And when I used it, I went camping a couple of years ago. We did a 24-hour solo thing where you're out in the woods, no technology, no nothing. You're able to bring a couple of little things with you, and the canteen was one. You could bring a lighter, try to fire that kind of thing. So they give you MREs as what your meal was. So like you do the MRE. I don't know how many of y'all have ever seen one, but you got the main food, and you got the dessert, and you got something else. You got a packet with coffee and sugar and stuff in it. So I had the container, metal, put it on the fire, heat it up, and then stuff I pop in the morning. I was with all kind of other guys, so I don't know how many of them thought I did that, but I was feeling pretty good in the morning. Then after the night, last storm, we were up in the mountains in South Carolina, so we got hit by a flash storm up there, and I was 10 minutes to set up a pretty good makeshift campsite for the morning, but
Right.
it came handy.
Well, that is a great idea, because number one, Wayne will tell you, if I don't have my coffee, somebody's going to get hurt. Yeah, I mean, I'm one of these that I'm. Don't talk to me out here and my coffee yet.
I wanted to say something else about that water, because I don't know any of you guys out there that are brewers, but you can make beer out of just about any kind. You can make beer out of tap water. So if you have a drink and you know how to make beer and you have the things to do that rainbow water can be used to filtrate in the time when it's tough, and you can make beer out of water. That's a good water.
Well, you can also, I've noticed a lot of these people that do moonshine and stuff like that. One of the things that I thought about instead of moonshine, you can do distilled water. It distills it, and you can make your own drinking water out of that, out of the same thing that they're using to make moonshine. I can make distilled water and keep myself alive. So that's one of the things. But let me ask you this, Ryan. How do you calculate how much water is going to come off of that roof to know what size gutters to put on it? Because you have some that are because, there's a lot of times people want to put little 3-inch gutters on there or 5-inch gutters on there, and with the shingles and stuff and the way the pitches are and all that, doesn't that calculate into how much water comes off the roof?
It does, and here's I can't remember how to get capacity, but what I always recommend to a homeowner is get 6-inch gutters, okay? The difference in price between a 5-inch gutter and a 6-inch gutter is, you guys get how much?
Pennies?
Zero. That's about it.
Really?
I can get you the same 5-inch gutter as 6-inch gutter. So why do they even put 5-inch gutters on top of it? So, there's a different amount of metal used, but it's so, when you have a really steep roof, you have to imagine how much water is being caught on that roof, and then running down that steep roof at a velocity of whatever, and then getting in that gutter. If you have a little 5 or 4-inch gutter, it might just be overpassing that gutter anyways, and not even going in it, or filling it up and overflowing, and then that becomes another problem is when water will fill the gutter, goes behind it, starts to rot and stop and fascia, which is another thing that we repair a lot when we deal with people's roofs, because I don't want to put a roof on a house that's got a rotten
lot of sense. Right.
And I put some nice butter guards on there. You know, gotta come up there and scrape the tools out of there anymore. If you get plastic butter guards, it's real kind of that stuff off and the butter comes in here anyway. So you get what you pay.
I can't stand squirrels. Oh,
I prefer when the time goes on to enough work.
yeah, well, hey, there you go. All right, guys, we're going out to break. Make sure you go out and check out BigDaveBasics.com, BigDaveBasics.com. Also, you can text the show at 205-677-6087, and we will be right back after this.
So you're outage proofing your freezer when you learn to can.
Back to the basics with Big Dave.
Got the breeze blowing like mercy on time. When my worries the worst would come back down. You the good stuff, I'm feeling alive. Like a slip on a bridge in the middle of the night. Life's too thick, I'm tired, swinging with a style. Never try to hold me, but I'm walking like a child of the king. Yeah, my train goes by, slip through the wind and the walls keep on. A little place, a little green, a little fire, won't quit. I've been trained, got like this, I'm a soldier, I'm feeling. I'm speaking on the rail and my heart in the sky. God feels so good, got me testifying high. Got my Bible in my hand and my soul feeling trouble. Faith in my cup, it's the back for revival. Like, hey now, we are back to the basics of Big Dave. Got Mr. Wayne with us, got Ryan, and the beautiful one with us. We found out a lot during the break. We were talking about microplastics and all that stuff, and Ryan found out that his wife's throwing everything away so that they don't build up the microplastics in their house.
We do a lot of recycling at our house because Alabama don't want to get the money to do it, so we try to collect as much of that.
Well, you know.
Tupperware is 5 and 6 so you can do it.
Well, and also you got to put aluminum foil over the top now. So, I mean, that's just the way it goes. So we're putting 6 gutters on the house. We found out that doesn't cost anymore. We're going to put downspout with a first flush coming off of it to get all the rocks and all that stuff and the dirt and everything. That's what the first flush is for. But we're going to get us a live straw, right, Wayne? Going to get you a live straw. Because you've got the perfect place out there where you live. You got a big lake that you can pour a copious amount of water off of.
I'm going to get a water catchment kid. I'm going to kill it.
You ain't going to like what you say. All the mercury.
That's why I want to look at it.
All the
baseline. Yeah, they got a stick on over here.
Well, I mean, you know, all that mercury that's in the water, I'm sure up there, they tell you do not eat the fish that come out of it. So you're going to be, really going to be working with it. You're going to have to get you a good filter. Yeah. I mean, a good filter. But, so let's go back to Ryan. And Ryan, tell us some more about what you do, all the stuff that's with HHM Roofing.
You want to know all the things that we do?
Yeah. There's a whole list of them. I know y'all do painting.
Yeah, we do paint. For painting the entire outside of our house in the area today and everything. We got everyone to work on Saturday, so what's wrong with me?
Okay, well, sunshine.
And we do stop and facial repair. We don't do windows exactly.
me ask you this. You're talking about the ridge vent and everything up at the top. Does that help keep, I know it helps keep the attic cooler, but that also helps the air conditioner and all that's inside keep the rest of the house cooler when you need it to be cooler and warmer when you need it to be warmer, correct?
That's correct. And like you say, we live in Alabama, so your attic can be hot one way or the other, but you guys use the best protection you can to minimize as much.
How many years is that ridge vent versus the turbine? How many years for that answer?
I don't know if either one would add more or less, maybe get a couple years. Most roofs in Alabama are not going to survive past 15 years. It's done in future months. We have another tactic we use that's a little more expensive, of course, but we have an underlayment that we use that has a foil vacuum so that it stops a lot more of the heat radiating through the house into the attic, and it's supposed to give you 17 to 34% better energy efficiency with your home. And the nice thing about it too is you can use that as an energy efficient addition and get $1,500 on the tax.
Oh, wow.
So you're going to spend a good bit of money to have this product because it doesn't go quite as far as standard underlayment. This is a synthetic. We don't use the old top paper like we used back in the day. It's thicker, it's white, but that's not going to help anything once it's really put on it. But the foil backing is what stops that radiation. So that can be another defense you can use against it.
Now, one of the things that I've seen contractors and all, they talk about, well, we put 4 nails or 5 nails or 7 nails, and the other contractors only put 2 nails. What's the standard on stuff like that?
You need to put 5 nails in the nail strip. I mean, if you put 2 nails in it's not going to work. But the reality is, the installers should be building it towards manufacturer specifications. Because when you get a roof from me, we offer multiple packages, which is not designed to fit for any homeowners and what their needs are, what the purpose of the house is. Are they going to do it as a lifetime home for them? Is it something I'm just going to flip and sell? You know, you probably don't want to put the big packages into it. But 2 of our 3 packages offer 50-year manufacturer warranties, plus my lifetime extra labor.
Wow, 50 years. That's a long time.
But if you don't install it correctly and you need to file that warranty, and the guys from the manufacturer come in and see that it's high nails or not enough nails, the warranty is going to get void. So you got to make sure you're truly installing these things the right way so that the homeowner is protected and his warranty is transferred. So if you bought one with the 50-year warranty package, you can offer that to the next person buying the house as a bargaining chip. And now you have a roof warranty that they can take the next person.
That is crazy. I mean, I didn't realize there was that much to it. I mean, I've done a couple of dog houses with the roof on them. You know, I mean, there's not much to them, you know, but that's about as much as I've done as far as the roofing part of it. So, give everybody how they can get in touch with you and where to find you at.
Okay, the first thing I want to say, you said something earlier in the show about, the guys from the house knocking on the doors. I have to admit, we do the same thing. I mean, I'm not going to lie and say we don't, but, that's how you generate news, because people don't know something wrong with it. And we know what we're looking for, so when you get a knock on the door from us, it's probably because we see an issue and we want to bring it to your attention.
Okay.
And granted, people don't like it when we get a knock on the door, but that's kind of the backbone of the roofing industry. That's how it's done. I mean, that's kind of the old way, it's the least efficient way of doing it, but when you don't have leads coming in on a regular basis, you got to find a way to go.
Okay, I'll take no soliciting sign down.
There are bad actors in every industry, so you're going to have people doing it the wrong way, and you're going to have people doing it the right way. If you have a no soliciting sign on your door, our guys are not going to get on.
There you go. Well, tell us in the last minute that we've got right here, tell us how they can get in touch with you and all the numbers. And
the thing. So the phone number is 205-396-7077. You'll most likely get an answer from Vinny. He's the guy answering the phone. Vinny. That's from New Jersey, so okay.
From New
I don't
Jersey.
think it's not a time. The website is hhmroofs.com. And Facebook page, HHM Roofing and Construction. So if you Google me, you have to put in HHM Roofing and Construction because there is an HHM Roofing Company in South Carolina. That's not me. So, and Construction. And then you'll see we have, as of yesterday, 106 5-star reviews.
Ooh,
They are really, I'm not paying a company to write a bunch of reviews and boost a bunch of those. It's just doing it for the people that I've worked with.
all right, guys, we have got to go. We will see y'all next week. Thank you guys for being here. We will see y'all next week.
Second Timothy 1:7, for God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of sound mind. Don't be scared, be prepared.